Good afternoon. Today is June 17th, 2020. We are on our computer uh, via Zoom. So I'm going to take a roll call. Miss Oden,
Here.
Ms. Gilio.
Here.
Okay, I'm him. Gloria Timmons. Ray Garino.
I'm here, present.
Here. Miss O'Gara.
Here.
Okay, and we have, let me just look at the screen here. We have
Yes.
Ms. Talbot.
Here.
And we have Mr. Forrest.
Here.
And we have Ms. Coffey.
Here.
And Ms. Brown, did you get
Ms.
Ms. Brown?
Oh, and Ms. Brown, she just showed up.
Okay.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. So the first thing on the agenda is personnel recommendation. So I'd like to approve personnel recommendation dated June 17, 2020. I need a second on that.
I'd like to ask for a non-public. I have a couple of questions.
Okay. All right, so we're going to go into non-public after the administrative recommendation, if it's okay with you, Ms. Oldham.
Pardon?
We'll go into non-public after we do administrative recommendations, if it's okay with you.
I had a question on that too. I thought can we go to non-public first? It's probably just a kind of freshman question because I'm so new to this process. But I did have a question on something that I would feel better if we dealt with it.
So I have a question to the committee. Are we going into non-public for personnel recommendation or for the administrative recommendation, or both?
I would say both.
Yeah, probably both.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to go into non-public. I don't have the RSA in front of me because I didn't print it out. Can you give me?
RSA 91A 32B.
Okay, RSA, what was it again?
RSA 91A colon 3 2B.
Okay, can we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I'm going to take a roll call. Ms. Oldham,
Here. Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
and Gloria, Ms. Timmons said yes, and Ms. Brown. But I want to make a motion to seal the minutes. So I need a second. Sharon, second. Ms. Oldham,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
and I vote, Ms. Timmons vote yes. So we are the non-public, 3-0. Okay, we're gonna go back. Let me see who's in. We're gonna go back to personnel recommendations. So I approve that I recommend approval for the revised copy of the personnel recommendation dated June 17, 2020. Karen?
Second.
Okay, and I'll have a roll call. Ms. Oldham,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
Ms. Timmons say yes. Personnel recommendations have been approved. Now, back to our administrative recommendation. I'd like to introduce Mr. Forrest, John Forrest.
Hi, everybody.
Mr. Forrest, can you give us a little bit of information about yourself? And welcome aboard, by the way. And tell the board a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is John Forrest. You know that. I just finished my third year in Nashua as an assistant principal. The first 2 years I was in Nashua, I was the assistant principal at Broad Street and served as a curriculum coordinator with a focus on science and social studies. And then this past school year, we almost had a complete year before we went to remote. I was serving as the assistant principal at Broad Street and also as Mrs. Talbot's assistant principal over at New Searles Elementary School. That was a busy position, but we made it work. And then prior to that, I have been a principal for 11 years in 2 other districts. And prior to that, I was an assistant principal for 3 years. So I have multiple years of being an educational leader. Helene go to block your ears. She knows. I love Broad Street. I've been there since the beginning in Nashua. I really love New Searles too. It's just that with all the time I have in at Broad Street and in the way that things happened with the great principal Stacy seeking employment elsewhere, it's just a great fit. It's a staff I love. It's a community that I love. I love the kids, and I'm really excited to be here and look forward to opening school in the fall, because that's what's going to happen.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had the foresight there. Do we have any questions for Mr. Forrest from the committee? Ms. Odom?
No, I remember John interviewing his very first time here in Nashua. And that goes back a few years, John, and I'm very happy to see you become the principal at Broad Street. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dottie. I appreciate it.
Dilio, you have any questions for Mr. Forrest?
Yeah, I know you started out as a music teacher, and
Yeah.
I was just wondering what instrument you played and if you still play it.
I was a trumpet player for a long time, and then I play all the instruments. The only one that I still actually play and practice is guitar at this point. The trumpet, actually, to my parents' dismay, I sold to a studio musician in LA last summer for about 4 times what my parents paid for it. So that was great. But yeah, I don't even have a trumpet in my life anymore. It's not something you can whip out at a campfire. So
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
thank you so much.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Forrest? If not, I recommend to approve John Forrest, principal of Broad Street Elementary School for the 2021 school year at an annual salary of $112,106.
Second.
Second. Oh, okay.
Okay, it's been seconded by Ms. Gilio. I'd like to take a vote now. Ms. Odom,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
Ms. Timmons say yes. Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Ms. Timmons. I do have to say that maybe, and Dana can jump in, that the salary was higher than what it should be, but I'll let you guys figure that out. I think you said 112. That's not even on the matrix, I don't think. But thank you so much, and I look forward to working with all of you.
And they have to be approved by the full board as soon as we get off this meeting. So later this evening, then you're safe.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, hopefully I won't receive a text or anything.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, I'm okay to leave now?
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Ms. Talbot, good luck.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Talbot, we got Ms. Kaufman here. Hello, Ms. Kaufman. How you doing?
Hi, good.
Did
Thank
you tell
you.
the community something about yourself?
Sure. So I am currently an assistant principal at Pelham Elementary School, finishing my 4th year. Prior to that, I worked at Pinkerton Academy. I started out as a guidance counselor and then moved into special ed after a few years. So I served as a case manager, a coordinator there, and then assistant director of special ed. In the meantime, I had pursued my administrative degree and decided I wanted to be an assistant principal. So I did that. I guess backing way up, prior to that, I was in business right out of school for about 9 years, and was fortunate enough to have a family friend, Jeff Collins, who was working at Nashua North when I was deciding I didn't like business anymore. So he had me kind of fill in for him. His secretary had left kind of mid-year, and he said, will you help me out while you're looking for a job? Just, come in, just help me. So I said, well, sure. I said, I'm not working at education. I don't like education, but I'll try it. I'll help you out. And I fell in love with it. So it's just really, for me, so meaningful to be back in Nashua, because that's what really helped me find my calling, which is education. Sometimes you need other people to help you realize your dreams. And so it's just really meaningful again for me to be back here, because for me, Nashua was where it all started for me.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Ms. Kaufman? Ms. Odom?
I do, yes. Ms. Kaufman, looking at your resume, you spent a lot of time at secondary schools, and then you went over to Pelham, an elementary school. And I don't know what your administrative jobs were or what your responsibilities were when you were at Pinkerton, but did you evaluate staff at Pinkerton?
Yes, I did. I actually did in both roles. As the special ed coordinator, I did evaluations as well as the assistant director of special ed. Did observations and supervised the special ed staff while I was there. So they were
Okay.
both administrative positions.
Thank you. And I know from being a teacher, elementary school is very different from secondary school. What type of differences did you find when you had to evaluate staff at the secondary level as opposed to going to Pelham and evaluating staff at the elementary level?
I'll say, well, in at Pinkerton, I was evaluating the special ed staff. So in primarily just special ed staff. So that was, obviously one difference. In Pelham, I've evaluated both general ed and special ed. And I think the biggest piece going from secondary to elementary is that elementary, the teachers do everything. There's, one teacher for students and they are in charge of math, reading, writing, getting them to lunch and UA and making sure they go to the bathroom. I mean, everything. There's one teacher in charge of everything and managing the classroom. Whereas in high school, it's a little more special ed. You might go in just to see, they're working on a certain piece with special ed. So it was really, for me, doing a lot of work around just what this elementary classroom looks like, which encompasses so many things and so many things going on at once. I feel like secondary was a little bit more straightforward. You kind of went in to see what you were going to see, and you typically saw what you were going to see. Elementary, not so much. You go in with everybody has the plan, and you meet and you say, well, this is what I'm going to do, and great, and I'll look at this, and what do you want me to pay attention to? And sometimes it goes that way, sometimes it doesn't. And there's a lot of kids, doing their own thing. So it's really just a kind of a completely different environment.
Yes. Let me ask you, as somebody going in to evaluate an elementary classroom, what 3 things do you look for as being important?
First, I think first and foremost, I would say connection, and maybe 1 and 2, connection in relationships, seeing that the teacher has a connection with the kids. And that's, I think, pretty evident the minute you walk in a classroom. And classroom management. So I guess I can put those first 2 together, classroom management and just an understanding of the curriculum. I think those are some of the big pieces that I look for. If a teacher has established good relationships and a good structure in the classroom with the students, you can see that and you see that they want to learn and they'll be engaged. And just understanding the curriculum so you can teach them where they're at and teach all the kids and all the diverse needs and kind of address that all at once, because that's what elementary teachers are doing all the time. They're constantly, everyone's at a different level and doing different things and needing and having different needs. So I think those 3 pieces for me are primarily what I look for.
Okay, and I just have one final question. Seeing where you did not come out of the elementary level, how did you familiarize yourself with the curriculum at the different grade levels?
Just, working with the teachers and spending time in the classrooms, working with we have 2 assistant principals at my current school. So working with the other assistant principal to really understand and learn a lot more about curriculum, where that was more of her specialty, as well working with the principal and just doing research and being in the classrooms, I think is a really, how you learn to see it. You can read about it and try and understand it, but really to see the curriculum implemented, as well as being a part of a data team. We have a data team that I was part of, and that was, we had teachers from each grade level. So really working together to pinpoint different areas and seeing, where the gaps are. And even as we were piloting new programs, talking about, what do we see, what do we need? And when we implement a new program, no program's perfect, and where are the needs, and kind of working with them to identify and looking at the data, looking at the test scores and seeing where we need to go and where we need to fill in those gaps to best prepare the kids.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Gilio, do you have a question for Ms. Kaufman?
More of a comment. If I walk to my window in my living room, I can see the roof of New Searles School. So it is where both of my children went through 6th grade at the time. And it's a wonderful place. I had a nice visit there just before we shut the schools down, maybe the day before. It's a great school and there are lots of wonderful people involved. And so I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you. And I've heard that from many people. So I'm excited because I've heard those exact comments from a lot of parents. So thank you.
You did look up with a good school, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So I'd like to recommend to approve Tricia Kaufman, Assistant Principal of New Searles Elementary School for 2021 school year at an annual salary of $81,000.
Second.
Yes, Ms. Odom. I'm sorry. Miss, I got the second there, but you had your hand raised, Dana? Is that?
Yes, I do. So, John Forrest is on step 112 for 106,000.
Okay, but
It's step 112.
okay, at 112,106. Okay, still got the 112,106. Thank you, Miss O'Gara. So so we have a second for Miss Kaufman. Miss Odom.
Yes.
Miss Gilio?
Yes.
And Ms. Timmons say yes. I was on your interview, so congratulations. And the
Thank you.
board would approve that. Welcome to New Searles.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
any other HR problems or discussion? No? Then I will recommend that we adjourn. Second by Ms. Gilio. That's your second, right? Yes. Ms. Odom,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio,
Yes.
and Ms. Timmons said yes, and we'll adjourn at 5:45. Thank you.